In today's video, I want to talk about combination quilting part 2. Hi, I'm Kim Jamieson-Hirst of Chatterbox Quilts. And in a previous video, I had talked about combination quilting, which is combining more than one type of quilting technique when you're quilting your project. So for example, free motion quilting and walking foot quilting, or walking foot quilting and ruler quilting, or ruler quilting and free motion quilting. You don't have to stick to just one technique when you're quilting your project. So today I want to talk about combining ruler quilting and free motion quilting. And before I get into this, I want to say thanks to Janome Canada for providing me with the Janome CM17 that I'm going to be working with today. So what you've got here is a 9-patch block. That's pretty obvious, right? What isn't obvious is what I've done to it already, and that is some ruler quilting. So very simple ruler quilting done on this. I could do a lot more, obviously, but my intention here was to combine some free motion quilting and some ruler work. So I intentionally have left spaces empty, and now I'm going to be filling them with free motion quilting. So lots of different areas here I can work in, lots of different designs I can play with. So I'm trying to think about what I can put in where, and I think I'm going to start in this center area here. And what I want to do is I want to add some interest here and some contrast to these really straight lines with the ruler quilting. Ruler quilting isn't always straight lines, but this particular sample is. So I think I'm going to do some wavy lines coming across here, maybe over some of the seams as well. We'll see how it goes, but that's where I'm going to start. So I've got my machine already set up for free motion quilting. And I'm going to start in this corner here. So I'll just ring up my bobbin thread here. Always need to bring it to the top. There he is. He's just a little tiny guy there. You can see. Lock my stitches. And then I can start with some wavy lines going across here. All right. And I'm dragging thread. Dragging thread. Didn't stitch over it, that's a good thing. But I'm dragging it, not so good. Alright, so I've gone across there. And then I'm going to wave up over the seam, I think. Why not? I'm going to go all the way to the top of this area. And stop. And then I'm going to start waving down the other way. All right, now I think I'll go up the side seam again. And we're back to the beginning. So I'm going to lock my stitches here because I want to show you what it looks like. All right, so here's what we have so far. All right, so I came up the sides. It kind of looks like a little bit of a butterfly, I think, actually. Not my intention, but that's kind of what it looks like a little bit, sort of. I don't know. What do you think it looks like? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, so I filled in this area. I still have more I can fill in here. I could fill inside these areas as well. I'm not going to do a lot of quilting because my intention with this video is just to give you an example of what you can do. But I do have lots of other areas to play with. So I am going to continue into some other areas. Let's move into some of these triangular areas next and see what we can do there. I think I might do something loopy. Again, I'm keeping with these rounded designs because we've got these very straight lines with the ruler quilting. Oops, that's not where I wanted to go. Let's try that again. Okay, that's better. Okay, let's see what kind of loopy things we can do in here. Okay, so here we have these kind of loopy things in there, right? So I could do that on the opposite one too. I could do different designs in all these different areas if I wanted to. I tend to want to have some symmetry in my designs, so I would probably do the same thing over in this triangle. I do have areas here to fill in too, of course, and then we've got these corner areas. So let's talk about these areas here, which are split into two. Let's do some, let's see, some L's and E's is what I'm thinking. Some L's and E's on this side. Okay, show you what that is, which are loops as well, really. Just one long thin loop and then a smaller loop for the kind of cursive E. Going to adjust my tension a little bit here. That's better. All right. So we've got some kind of L's and E's there. So a little bit different than these loops, right? We have a small one, a big one, small one, big one, or taller one if you want. So that's what I've got in there. So I would probably mimic that on the other side, but I do have this area too to fill in. So I'm thinking, what could I do with that? Well, let's see. Sometimes I just start stitching and, you know, a design will come to me. You never know. Hopefully a design will come to me, right? All right, not liking that very much, but let's add a bit. Okay, so not my best quilting, but that's okay. So got kind of this ribbon effect here and then just a little one coming in to fill up that space, because if I just left it without that, there's just too much open area there. It just doesn't look very good. So I can continue that on the opposite side and even down here if I wanted to. We still have an awful lot of thread hanging around is what we have here. But anyway, let's get rid of some of this so we can see what we've got here. Okay, get most of that out of there anyway. We still have these other triangles here, so I could do the same thing here, you know, in all four of them, or I might do something different in these two that are there. We'll see. But I'm going to go and I'm going to finish quilting this, and then I'm going to come back and I'll show you what I decided to do there and what it looks like when you combine ruler quilting and free motion quilting. All right, so I have finished the quilting I'm going to do on this, and it's a little bit more of a hodgepodge than I usually would do, but I decided I was going to do something different in the triangles, and so each of them is quilted differently. However, I did the same wavy back and forth around all of them, so that brings some continuity to the design. I left the center very simple. I did all the four corners the same with the L's and E's, and then this kind of ribbon and another little swirl coming in. Is it great quilting? No, but is it quilted? Yes, it is. And that's the main thing, right? It's a great practice piece, right? So you don't always have to do just one type of quilting. You can combine, as I did in this one, for example, ruler quilting and free motion quilting. And you can combine free motion quilting and walking foot quilting too. And if you're wondering how to do that, don't worry, I got you covered. Check out this video that explains exactly how to do that. And for helpful quilting information, be sure to go to my website at www.chatterboxquilts.com.